Greetings, Inquisitors. I'm glad you found this holocron. Double holocron today. We've got APGAINS joining us. We had some interesting stuff planned for today. We were going to talk about teams, especially as they pertain to Grand Arena, and give people an idea of how good of a team you needed at each galactic, how much galactic power you needed to have in a team for different Grand Arena divisions. And today they came out with an announcement that changes, well, pretty much everything about galactic division levels. So we've been trying to decipher what the post means. And it's not clear what this post is talking about. So I think tonight, instead of doing what we'd planned to do, we're just going to talk about the potential changes and see if we can get one or two scenarios that might be what they really mean, and what that could mean for you, how you develop your account, and what it could mean for the game. So what was your understanding of the post, AP?
Well, as you know, but no one else is going to, we talked extensively about what all of this means before we started the video, but originally I had anticipated that they were simply adding teams to Division 1 through 6. So everyone was going to keep their GP. They were just going to be bumped down a division. So like the people at the top, it wouldn't be like 4 million GP versus 8 million GP. They would even it out a little bit more. And I thought, as a whole, we were all just getting more teams. But after we talked, I realized that only the top divisions are being added character squads to be used. So basically, the rest of us, instead of being able to use more of our rosters, apparently we're going to be using less, which means that completely changes every farming guide ever. Basically, any video that came out before this update is completely useless in terms of farming GP and divisions and tactics and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So
I mean,
if we take an account that was 2.5 million, and I put up a chart here. So in the previous GP, we can see that 2.5 million would put you at Division 4, right? And you would need 6 teams for characters and 1 team for ships. And you would say, okay, 2.5 million galactic power, 6 teams on defense, 6 teams on offense. That's the way it's been. Well, they said that they're going to change the amount of teams at higher divisions, but they didn't say they were going to change anything about teams at lower divisions. But they did say that the divisions were going to be at different galactic powers. So now, if we look and we see where 2.5 lands, it's all the way down in Division 8. Because Division 8 goes all the way from 2.3 to 3.1. So that 2.5 account now is going to drop down to Division 8. They didn't say anything changed. So it's possible that 2.5 million galactic power account is going to be using 3 defensive teams, 3 offensive teams, and 1 fleet, which would be such a huge change at the low end of galactic power. I think it does get better for the higher end of galactic power for the people up top, but for the people in the middle, that quality of life change, I think, could be quite uncomfortable. Do you
I
think that?
mean,
Do you think that's really what
this
they're going to
is
do?
it took quite a while for Darth Loquitur to console me down from an absolute blood rage. Going into it, I was excited. It seemed like a good change because, like I previously stated, I thought it was going to be more teams for everyone. I thought it was going to be Robin Hood, men in tights, a rob from the high GP, give to the poor GP. But I realized that we're dealing with Capital Games, and just like I did a video the other day with Ian where we talked about how Capital Games structured Galactic Legends entirely around the idea that they wanted to give late game and whale players something that free-to-play players couldn't have access to. And until now, I thought that was just limited to characters, but now apparently it's limited. It's increased its scope into fun. You have to pay for fun now,
Yeah.
which is
So
terrible.
so if that's true, and you're a 2.5 million galactic power, and you only get to play with 6 of your teams, it really, the idea of a focused roster becomes not just important but critical.
Yes.
Because if you build up that much galactic power and you don't have 6 killer teams, you're neither going to defend or offend. So
Go
yeah,
on defense.
you're just going to be playing with the very top end of your roster. So this is how you would hope it would show, right? So this is the second chart that we talked about, and this is kind of what you would hope it is. Where if we look at Division 8, we would say, okay, people at 2.5 million galactic power, they used to need five, um, let's see, five characters at that level. So we're going to keep it at five characters at that level, right? Five or six teams. Um, and then go up from there where the higher divisions would increase. But after rereading the post time and time again, it doesn't say that they're going to slide down the amount of teams for galactic power. It just says they're going to add teams at the top and the galactic power is getting rearranged. So this could be a huge change, a huge change. And my main account is at 4.6 million galactic power. So I would go from Division 1, the bottom of Division 1, to Division 5, and I would still use 7 teams, but I wouldn't use 2 fleets anymore. Because if we just apply the changes to the old chart, it would be 5 teams. That's what used to be. And they said plus 2 teams at Division 5, so that's 7. But they didn't say they were going to change fleets. So at 7, at Division 5, it would be 7 character teams and 1 fleet at 4.6 million galactic power. So for that account, it doesn't change my Grand Arena too much. It looks pretty much the same as it used to, maybe a little less reliance on ships, which is a bummer for me because I made 4 fleets, and you'd hate to have developed that and pretty much lose access to 2 good fleets that you spent a lot of time and credits to develop. What would that mean for your main account?
Well, the account I make videos on was previously Division 3, and now it's looking like I'm in Division 7. My account has teams, and like we were going to talk about in the version of this video before the changes, has some teams where there's a relic on a team, and that relic makes that team viable at where I'm at. And I don't need to worry about relicking up other characters in that team. But now I'm going to have to relic up a bunch of characters that I never thought I was going to have to relic because I'm going to use less teams. And now my roster is not in a great place. It went from being super efficient in terms of the teams I was using to like bottom tier at this point. And that's kind of a bummer because my entire channel is based on, efficiency and farming and stuff like that. So it's not looking too good for me, man.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I have a clones team with a relic 5s that really pulls its weight and punches up, and it gives me a good team for relatively low galactic power. I've got several teams that are exactly what you're saying. There's like 1 or 2 relic characters among some supports, and punching up, and you won't need those teams anymore at Division 7. You'll be back to using 4 offense and 4 defense. And obviously, you'll need more cleanup teams because once people are only using that many teams, the defenses are going to get a lot better, and you're probably going to have a lot more matchups where you have to, start it and clean up. So let's flip the script on this, and let's say maybe there's something to like about these changes. Like it's easy to jump in and see all the problems and say, well, that's going to affect me negatively, and there's a bunch of stuff that I can't do or won't do or is different. And what about the good stuff? What would this change help, especially for newer players at the lower galactic power?
Well, I feel personally gross about saying this because for those of you who aren't behind the scenes, we literally just talked about this. So you brought up a fantastic point that I will now illustrate to all of your lovely viewers, is that now because you need less teams theoretically, and GP bloat is not going to matter as much. So, my previous Jedi Knight Revan guide where you keep all the characters at level 50 except for the Jedi to decrease that GP grind until later, that doesn't matter anymore. All your Phoenix grinds, it doesn't matter anymore. So that's nice. Bloat won't affect people, and that's good for people like me or other Hyperdrive bundle players. All of those level 80 characters that were previously biting us in the butt, not going to be a huge deal anymore. So there are positives, Darth Loquitur. There are indeed positives.
Yeah, and for people like me that unlocked every ship in the game and blew up galactic power on a whole bunch of ships that aren't useful. That it becomes less relevant anyway. So maybe a little more forgiving on mistakes. Because again, if you're playing with the top end of your account at 2.5 million galactic power, those 6 to 8 teams that you're actually going to use, only represent probably the top 1.5 million of your account. So you've got a lot more stuff at the bottom. And C3PO was one for me because I never wanted to build the Ewoks. It was just such a waste of galactic power to build Ewoks. And so if this structure works like we think it might, then you go, okay, well, I mean, it's not really relevant to calculating my matchups in Grand Arena anymore. So I can stay in my division for longer and build the Ewoks, build C3PO without worrying about that character bloat. So that's good. With it being less teams, do you think it'll be more competitive because people have to really focus and sharpen their mods and make their best teams really good?
You know what? I didn't think about this literally until you uttered the disgusting word. In all intents and purposes, for me, it's a curse word, mods. I feel like, and we can go back into the ancient histories of they changing the Padme event because they hate APGAINS because he was so smart. They're making the game impossible for memers like me now. I used to be able to win just on big brainness alone. I didn't have to rely on mods. I didn't have to rely on paying attention even. I could read chat and still win without paying. And now APGAINS is going to have to take this game seriously. So I think they're disguising this as a great change for the upper echelon of players. We're revolutionizing the fleets and the teams, and it's going to be a new experience. It's going to be fun for players who might have gotten a stale taste of GAC. It's been out for years. It might have gotten boring for some of them. But that's all a masquerade to hide the fact that they're doing this just to spite me. And that's my honest opinion. I think they just hate me.
So the mods are a positive for me and a negative for you.
I think the mods are a positive for everyone but me. I think so many people were complaining. They got on their CG Crumb, CG whatever. This APGAINS guy, he did the absolute dumbest thing ever. And he ended up winning, and I can't stand this. I spent too much time grinding mods. I watched too many Darth Loquiturs. I'm the best player ever, and APGAINS still beat me. And they said, you know what? We're on your side. We're taking them down. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I can't stand... Capital Games headquarters is not too far from my house. So I will be staging a one-man protest if you'd like to join me on April 33rd. I will be there. April 33rd, Capital Games headquarters. I will be issuing a one-man protest. If you would like to join me, please come along. I'm so mad.
So the positive things are you'll get a hate group together.
Pretty much, yes. For those people who know my interesting history, it won't be the first time that I'll be the suspect of the long arm of the law, but this time I came to play Capital Games. This is your first official warning. I will crayon your front door. So
yeah. So I think one other thing that might be an advantage for let's say using less teams up to a higher galactic power. For one of the knocks on, hey, I want to start the game and go straight for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, if you just went straight for a galactic legend, it made a lot of the game less viable. You're still, for my opinion, you're going to find it harder to do conquest game modes and galactic challenges and things like that unless you have at least a couple teams to stabilize it. I'm a big fan of going Geos into Padme or Geos into Jedi Knight Revan and then go for your galactic legend so that you at least get some teams to stabilize. But for people who do go straight for a galactic legend, you'll end up with 2 or 3 full relic teams right away, and that will actually, I think, then be more of a dominant force in Grand Arena than even the balanced accounts because you're just going straight for the relics.
Now, hear me out here. I'm gonna get a little conspiratorial on you, and I want you to be that positive, balanced force in the ether to help stabilize my craziness right here. So I'm gonna play something upon you. It's gonna be heavy. It's gonna weigh on your heart, but I need you to be strong for the people right here. Okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's have it.
Who is the face of the anti-galactic legends farm in all of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, who is on the precipice, the forefront, the front line, leading his soldiers into battle against Russian galactic legends? The answer, of course, is AP
Arnold.
Games.
Oh,
Yet no, it's this entire farming guide is about Russian SLKR.
I know.
It's AP Gains. Yet another transgression against the 69th precinct. I thought it was just the mods, but they're getting me at every corner, man. They're getting me at every corner.
The great thing is,
Oh.
the great thing is, if all these changes hit, Matt, you'll find a way, and 2 months later, you'll be dominating again with a new big brain strategy. We know it. We all trust. We all trust in the big brain.
Oh man, there's nothing smooth about this. It will prevail, Capital. You can't keep me down. Oh God.
All right, so suffice to say, until we see an official chart of how many teams are in each division, it's hard for us as influencers to try to put good information out there for folks to follow. So the stuff that we thought we were going to do tonight just doesn't work out in light of the ambiguity with this new system. So again, what we had intended was to kind of go through the different Grand Arena divisions and just kind of put a framework on galactic power for what kinds of teams you should have. You know, a big offensive team at 110K, a big defensive team at least 100K at the lower divisions, you know, some stuff like that. So once we get some clarity on that, we'll try to put that stuff together again and give you guys a outlook. You know, it may take a couple months to get back to this and playing through a Grand Arena with the changes in place, but we'll try to see if we can do that for you all sometime in the future. Any closing thoughts, AP Gains?
Well, the one thing I have in abundance is not 25 plus speed mods. It is thoughts, but I won't share any of them because they're a little too anti-capital games at the moment. But thank you for having me on. Is this the first collab you've done on your channel? Am I the opening act?
You are, indeed.
Oh,
you're the first visitor.
Oh my goodness, this is a glorious day indeed for the 69th precinct. Where
you know what they say, save the best for last. Oh, I mean first. I meant first.
It's exactly what my mom said when I was born. She said, "You know what? I think the next one's going to be better. I think this one's just not going to do."
So hey man, where can people find you?
Crying after this dev post, but when I'm not crying, AP Gains on YouTube represent the 69th precinct, the greatest Coruscant underworld precinct. The greatest Coruscant underworld precinct in existence. We're on the bottom level of Coruscant if you want to check us out. Yeah, man.
All right. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you all. For you Inquisitors, if you haven't smashed that like button, get your like sabers out. Specifically designed to destroy the like button, please do so. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. Join us over on Discord, and we'll see you in the next Holocron.